Hello traders everywhere, Adam Hewison here coming to you from the digital studios of MarketClub, and we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be first of all looking at gold. What you see on the screen is a chart, a spot chart of gold, which really tells a big story. And here's the story that we see for gold right now. It's had a lot of opportunity to get pushed down, but the reality is it hasn't gone down. And here you have a long-term, this line here, right here, is a long-term downtrend line. It was broken right here. You have the three parts, 1, 2, 3. It's a classic trend line, broken. You also have a potential double bottom here. And the retest, the Fibonacci retest, which is right here. And now we're off to the races. Plus, all of our trade triangles are in a plus mode, indicating a higher price. Now what I did, I looked at earlier, do we have any stocks that are doing that, like ETFs potentially, that we could look at? So let's just clear the screen and let's take a look at our trade triangles. Here's how you do that. We simply go up to the point right here, the trade triangles, click once, and it'll bring up an entire list. Now that's a lot of things to look at. So I want to look at equity, volume greater than 2 million, so we're not going to get little quiet stocks, penny stocks, and so forth. I want to look at monthly trade triangles, and I want to look since yesterday, or we could do today. This is the one I'll share with you, is GG Gold Corp. Let's take a look at that stock. You can see we've got a daily and a monthly that came in today. So again, let's just click on the chart, click on the little icon to the right, and as you can see, there's the monthly signal at 28.22. Currently trading at 28.13, not unusual for the pullback, but what is interesting on this particular chart, in my opinion, now we know on the long-term spot chart we've broken a long-term downtrend line. On this chart, we're actually creating something which is quite interesting. And before I draw on there, let me just take my trend tool right here, the trend line tool. And when you see the little yellow box here on the far top left-hand corner, it means the tool is live. So I just want to draw from here to here. And as you can see, it's a little bit different from the chart we showed you on spot gold in this sense. This looks to me like a really classic head and shoulders. So this would be the left shoulder right here. This would be the head. And this would be the right shoulder. Now we have to go over this level right here. And that level is 28.67. So if we see a market, if the market closes over there on this particular stock, GG, then we have a target zone. If we measure from this point here to this point here, it's approximately $7. Okay, $7. That's the difference between this neckline, what they call the neckline, which is right here, and this low. Okay, so if you take $7 on to, let's say, 28, that takes you up to 35, which is right here, which gets you back into this area, sort of this area where it was former support and now it should be resistance. So I would imagine somewhere between 35 and 37 is to be a target zone. So the target zone, let's just put that at 35, which is still a very nice return from where you are right now. So anyway, that's looking at this particular stock. Came up on our trade triangles right here, and that's something you really want to watch very carefully. So again, came up on the trade triangles. So let's clear the screen, take a look at some of the other markets. Go to my portfolio. As you can see, we've got most of the markets right here. You can see that the spot gold, again, is in a super trend on the upside with all of our triangles positive. Now the same can be said for the Dow, which has the weekly and the monthly positive, still a strong uptrend. S&P the same way, and the NASDAQ. So all the indexes, despite the pullback that we've seen, are still in a positive mode. The only sort of mixed picture here is on the euro. Sort of we've got a monthly negative and a green daily and weekly. Now that would mean you want to be long this currency. Currencies have not been performing well as well as they have done in the past, and that's something we have to look at. Now on crude oil, again, we trade these on the dailies and the weeklies. This is indicating that some further weakness is coming into this market. So let's start with the Dow. Well, here's the Dow. It's a big picture going back obviously to 2012. We'll shorten that up to a 6-month chart, and you can see it really is still plodding along. We expect it to continue to plod along. We've got 85 reading on our trade triangles. It's an indication of a stronger trend and higher prices. On the S&P cash, still the same thing. There we've come back from a very overbought condition, so we're sort of in a support area, and I expect we'll see this market continue, maybe move sideways for a while, but eventually start to move back up and challenge those recent highs. On the NASDAQ, we've seen a pullback there. We could still see some further weakness, but the reality is this is a strong trend. We've taken out this high here. If you measure from, it's going to draw this in very quickly so you'll get an idea of where potentially this can go. You see the low here and the low here. That's a double bottom right here. You've got a pivot point here. So let's say you're talking from the 4,000 level right here to the pivot point, which is right here, 4,350. So we should get 350 points out of this, so that should take it up to around 700. That's the target zone. That's for the NASDAQ. So let's move on. The dollar's sort of turned up a little bit. We've got our weeklies in place as well as our dailies that kicked in right here at 136.11. So anyway, so it looks like it's a little higher than that, so that's looking good. You crossed over the 50 line, indicating further strength for the euro against the dollar. Crude oil, you can see crude oil is really getting oversold here. Still over $100 a barrel. And longer term, with monthly, the trend is still positive, but short term, you're seeing some weakness come into this market. So be a little cautionary on that market and stay on the side. Hey, it's Adam Hewison from Market Club. If you have any questions, be sure to check us out on our Q&A section on Market Club, and we'll do our very best to get everything answered for you. Have a great trading day, everyone.
You can find Adam Hewison as a regular contributor on Bloomberg, Business News Network, CNBC, and Fox Business News.